Power of the Pen with Luana Bradford, expanding the impact and influence of authors from around the world. If you want to change the world, pick up your pen and write, said Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Books are uniquely portable magic. Power of the Pen spotlights authors from around the world. Listen as authors share messages that educate, motivate, inspire, and entertain. Join us each Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern on e360tv.com.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of Power of the Pen. I am your host, Luana Bradford, and you know I love all things books. And this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month as well as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I am wearing my pink in recognition of that. And I'm excited because this episode is where I'm going to get you ready for what's coming next week. Next week, we have an amazing show, which is entitled Woman to Woman, Life Lessons Learned on the Journey to Marriage, Motherhood, Entrepreneurship, Divorce, Surviving Breast Cancer, and Finding New Love by Delphine Lomax Taylor. And Delphine and I, we go way back. We've worked together in the entrepreneurial ranks, and to hear her story packaged in this amazing book really causes you to just pause, sit back, and reflect not only on her journey, but also your own journey. I love how she thought when she wrote this book that she was going to do so in collaboration with another woman, meaning a woman publisher. And she ended up working with a friend of hers who's a man who is in publishing. And she was concerned if she would be able to be as transparent and raw as she would be with a woman. And she found that she was perhaps even more transparent in how he gently guided her in being able to extract her story, her lived experiences in such a way that was not only compelling, but what I love about how she began to unpackage each of these areas of her life. At the end of each chapter, she gives her life lessons learned. So it's, again, a way for you to reflect on her journey, but then ask yourself, as I'm going through something similar, how might I learn from this? Or how might I ask certain questions of myself? What lessons am I learning along the way? And how are these lessons empowering me so that I can empower others? So this book is a legacy, is one that I think is applicable for a woman, young girls in their entire lived experience. And I want to have her, I'm going to invite her to the stage, not on this show. Those of you who know I have other shows, but Business and Financial Raw Talk, and that particular intersect in what her life journey meant to her evolution as an entrepreneur. But next week, we're going to really dissect the chapter that she wrote about her breast cancer journey. And what I loved about this particular showcase, if you will, and allowing us a glimpse behind the veil. We hear about, her diagnosis, and she shares the raw emotions and how she went through making her decisions of what she was going to do in this journey. But what I found in this book that I haven't seen in any other book, and I actually haven't heard on any other platform, and it doesn't mean that it's not being said or told, but she talked about the financial ramifications when you're diagnosed with a serious illness. And during this time, she had just gone through a divorce and didn't have insurance. And she takes us through a very powerful and impactful educational journey to help us understand that there are resources available for individuals, but sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So that for me with this book and in that chapter I found was a very different perspective, a very different lens that we sometimes don't think about. And the last thing that we want to concern ourselves with is I want to get well, right? I want to be empowered. I want to be focused on my health. But then you have the stress of wondering, how am I going to get this done? How am I going to afford this? The burden of the bills that you know that are going to be there. And the chapter that she talks about her overcoming breast cancer, and we will do a deep dive next week on this, is she takes you through again what she found, the resources that she found, the local resources in her community, but then also the state resources. So I hope that next week, as we unpackage more of Delphine's story and read excerpts of her journey, that it helps to empower anyone who is currently going through any medical diagnosis and healing and recovery, or if you know of anyone. So for me, I thought it's a very raw insight into what she went through, but I really leaned into the fact that she brought in the financial piece that often we don't really talk about and we don't lean into. And so I want to thank you, Delphine, so much for sharing all points of the journey. And the other thing that we will talk about next week is what happens when you have one diagnosis and you think, okay, I can handle this. And then you get hit with another one where it seems to just magnify, right? And that's what she went through, where she thought, I'm going for one thing. And then when they went back and did more testing, realized that there was greater risk for her. And also through this journey, we know how it's so important to always have people in our corner, always have our tribe around us and helping gird us up as we go through any journey in life, but especially any type of health crises. And she talks about that. And she also shares, and I'll read an excerpt from that next week, is both she and her sister were going through a breast cancer fight at the same time. Can you imagine when you reach out to your sister and you're encouraging her because of what you found, or you reach out to a friend and you're encouraging that friend because of what you found to go and get their wellness check, to only be told later that I've been hit too. So I think it's very important that all of us, whether we've been impacted directly or indirectly by any health scare, breast cancer, particularly as we're speaking this month, that we continue to tell our story. We continue to amplify those messages that are out there, that we continue to spotlight the champions, the conquerors who are out there advocating for increased research, increased education. We have to have a seat at the table. We have to be willing to have a seat at the table. And sometimes that table is our kitchen table, where we're talking to our sons and daughters, helping to educate, helping to create a platform where we can have the responsibility and accountability for our health and wellness, and know that in and around us, there is a greater community of support. So that is what we have to look for again next week. And I'm going to put it up here again. If you want to go to Amazon.com and get this book, I promise you will not be disappointed. Again, Woman to Woman, Life's Lessons Learned on the Journey to Marriage, Motherhood, Entrepreneurship, Divorce, Surviving Breast Cancer, and Finding New Love. It is just beautifully, beautifully written. And again, the lessons learned, I think, are ones that we can all sit back and reflect and see, how are we showing up in life for ourselves and for others, and also to ask ourselves the questions: what type of legacy are we leaving? What impact are we having? Within Power of the Pen. Before I move on to the next section, I want to just give a salute to our sponsor, Chemo Buddies for Life.
Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been showing that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. We'll match you with the perfect buddy. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
We're offering you a free membership, so please sign up today. Share this with your friends and family, and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a chemo buddy for life.
We are a Buddies Network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are Chemo Buddies for Life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.
Thank you so very much, Chemo Buddies for Life, Tamara Hunter, and the entire team, including one of my partners, Barbara Beckley, for just the work that you're doing to amplify the need that we all need community, we all need connection, especially when we're going through those health crises. One of the things that I love about having a platform such as this is it does allow me to amplify the voices of women, the spoken word, the written word, books written by women, for women, to help improve our lives, lives of our community, lives of our nation, and ultimately the world. And this episode is a little bit different. As I said, I wanted to just give a little salute to what's upcoming, but I also want to just sit in this month and have a conversation when it comes to health and wellness. I love that having platforms allow us to reach beyond ourselves to a broader audience, to tap people on the shoulder to say, hey, have you thought about this? So if you're joining us for the first time, this isn't one of our typical shows. Here at Power of the Pen, again, we spotlight books written by women, books written for women. If you are an author and you would like to be featured on this platform, I will have the information below. We would love to reach out to talk to you, to learn about what you've done, what you've written, or if you have a book that maybe you're not an author, but there was a book that inspired you and you want to come on and talk about that. And we've had several individuals who've come and represented themselves, their views, and how through their experience, through a particular author, have been able to see transformation in their lives. And so, again, you can be an author, you can be just someone who's an avid reader, someone who's been touched by a particular book that you want to come on this platform and share with a broader audience. We welcome you to do so. I'm going to give a pause right now as we have a little cutout to talk about breast cancer awareness and things that you can do to ensure a healthier life. Put in the contact information below again if you're interested in becoming being a guest on the show, you can contact me directly at lawana@bradfordgroupmtg.com. You can go to my Linktree contact information, or you can contact me on all social media by my name. You see my handle above as well as below. Instagram, the Lawana Bradford, or Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Lawana Bradford. I'd love to have a conversation and see how you can come and be a part of our network and share your insights, share your books with us all. I apologize. I'm getting over something and my voice is kind of shot right now. I also want to talk to you about another thing that's upcoming for 2024. Every month we are going to have an element of training for new authors on this platform. And it's talking about how you as an author can level up your game to create more visibility and exposure for you and your message. What does that mean? So I'm excited that in some cases I'll be joined by my partner, Barbara Beckley. There's be some where it'll just be me speaking, but it'll be a snippet of the show. It won't be the entire program that will be devoted to that, but some tips and tools that if you're an author, that is an opportunity for you to consider if you're looking to create more reach, more impact, more influence. And then the last part is if you're wanting to create more income with your message, how can you do that? Right? So those are going to be some trainings that we're going to have. There will also be more resources that we're going to bring to the stage. So again, an entire show will not be devoted to those resources, but we will be introducing you to publishers, to individuals in the media industry, to talk to you about how you can get more exposure. There will be individuals who have magazines that are looking for authors, not just to say, hey, here's this person and here's their book, not to minimize that by any means, but they're looking for authors to be contributors to their work. So again, this is a way that you can slice and dice and amplify your message to have greater reach and exposure. We will also have individuals who have seminars and workshops who are looking for individuals with certain messages. So stay tuned, lean in, connect with us, because it may be an opportunity again for you to further platform your message. We also have coming up tomorrow is not on this platform, but on Choose to Challenge, which is another show, Dr. Linda R. Johnson. And the reason why I bring her up is she is a breast cancer survivor. So if you're watching this, stay tuned tomorrow on Choose to Challenge at 6 p.m. Eastern. There is going to be actually 2 shows. So next week, I kind of got ahead of myself. Dr. Cheryl Bryant Bruce, who is a cancer survivor, but is also in the FAB Over 40 contest, which is a contest to spotlight again and promote education awareness around breast cancer. She will be the guest on Choose to Challenge tomorrow night. So tune into that. And it also is an opportunity for you to continue to support breast cancer awareness by casting your free vote and or casting your votes and adding a donation to FAB Over 40. Again, that will be an interview with Dr. Cheryl Bryant Bruce. And we're going to talk about health and wellness and its impact in the African American community. The following week, the last Sunday of this month, we will have Dr. Linda Jordan, who is a breast cancer survivor, and she will also be on Choose to Challenge. And we are going to also have her as a guest on Power of the Pen on a future episode. I'm seeing if we can pull her away from her busy schedule to have her on before the end of the calendar year, or at least in January 2024. And her book is entitled Unleash Your Inner CEO, A Country Girl's Guide to Being Your Own Boss. So Dr. Linda R. Jordan will be on Choose to Challenge on the October 30th, talking about her breast cancer journey, her journey as an entrepreneur, And stay tuned because we will have her on Power of the Pen to discuss her latest book that was just released last month entitled Unleash Your Inner CEO, A Country Girl's Guide to Being Your Own Boss, again by Dr. Linda R. Jordan. So I'm excited about those two shows that are upcoming. And sorry, I've got things a little out of whack here. Choose to Challenge. It's coming on tomorrow, so make sure you mark your calendar, 6 p.m. Eastern, and on October 30th, 6 p.m. Eastern. Again, if you want to be a guest on Power of the Pen, we'd welcome you. One of the things I love is that I have the opportunity to read every book before it is showcased on this platform. Because I want to be able to, first of all, understand what your message is, spotlight you in a way that really amplifies your message, and to provide meaningful conversation and dialogue with you as an author. So that's my way of honoring and respecting you. And again, if it's not a book that you've written, but just a book that you want to celebrate and elevate, I will read that as well before it is aired on this show. So here is contact information about being a guest on Power of the Pen. Well, thank you again for joining us for a little special edition of Power of the Pen. Get ready next week for Woman to Woman with Delphine Lomax Taylor. She will not actually be here, but we're going to go through her book. We'll hopefully have her featured in another TV show that I do, which is entitled Business and Financial Raw Talk, because I really want to tease out the conversation that she has around the financial implications of when you have a health diagnosis and you do not have insurance coverage. But also we will translate that into her life as an entrepreneur of over 30 years and how she left corporate America and never looked back. But next week, we will explore and unpackage her chapter on her breast cancer journey. So please be a part of the episode. I encourage you, go to Amazon and purchase her book, Woman to Woman by Delphine Lomax Taylor. And with that, I want to say thank you so very much for joining me for a special edition of Power of the Pen. I am Luana Bradford, and I look forward to seeing you next Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Make it a great day. Stay safe. And remember, get your mammograms, do your self-checks. And also remember, in life and in business, when your vision intersects with opportunity, success is inevitable. Until next week, bye everyone.